Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear, and this is the extended review of the Niwalker Vostro flashlights. Alright, here we have the two versions of the Niwalker Vostro, the BK-FA01. The BK-FA01 is the one with the XM-L2 version, so that's going to give you that real concentrated, long throwing beam. And then the BK-FA02 with the MT-G2 LED, a more spread out beam with more lumens, about double the lumens. And you'll see those better when we take them both outside. So let's talk about some basic specs on them. So for the BK-FA02, the one with the MT-G2 LED, 2,420 lumens on max output, all the way down to 2 lumens with some other outputs in between. You're looking at 523 meters of beam distance. So even though it's that wider, more spread out beam with more lumens, you still get fantastic throw on it. So it's still really good distance on the MT-G2 version. And the XM-L2 version, what you have is 1,280 lumens all the way down to 3 lumens, and then 755 meters of distance, which is pretty crazy for a light this size. This thing right here will do 755 meters, which is that's a heck of a distance. I'd honestly have a lot of trouble finding an unlit area around here. You know, we go out and we do the long distance comparison videos. We have about 400 meters to work with, so 755 meters is pretty crazy. And as always, you can get the full specs on our site. What I did is I'm just looking at the ANSI tables from the user manuals of both of these. But you can always get the run times and other outputs and all that kind of stuff on our site, goinggear.com. So I went ahead and pulled the BK-FA01, the XM-L2 version, out of the packaging because it comes with the same stuff that the other one does. So here's the BK-FA02. We're going to pull it out, show you everything that both of them come with. Okay, so you have some spare parts, some accessories. So there's some spare O-rings in case you happen to need those. A lanyard if you are a lanyard person. Here is the flashlight. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Some other stuff down in there. Obviously you get the user manual, but I already pulled that out. The warranty card. You have a storage bag in case you want to store it. Nice soft storage bag. Help keep it from getting dinged up and scratched up. Throw it in your pack. It's pretty tough aluminum and it's type 3 hard anodized, so it might actually be the thing that's doing the scratching. So it's not a bad idea. Throw it in that bag, keep it from harming other things and keep other things from harming it. So let's go ahead and pull it out of the sheath. Actually, we'll put it back in just so you can see what the sheath looks like. Nice sheath. Got the attachment point on the back. Holds it in there really well. Relatively simple sheath. Did a nice job on that. Alright, let's go ahead and set all that stuff to the side and we'll show you the two flashlights. So you can see, other than the LED, you're not really going to notice any difference between the two. The only thing that you're going to notice is that they do have different engraving. You know, they have the BK-FA01 versus BK-FA02. Other than that, they're pretty much physically identical. They have the same rotary ring to control it, powered by the same batteries, so they're powered by 4 18650s. You can look down in there, you can see the LEDs, give you an idea of the size difference. So much larger LED on the MT-G2 versus the XM-L2, but it's going to give you a little bit less of concentrated beam, so you're going to get more throw out of that XM-L2 beam. And you saw that in the numbers in the beam distance rating. If you've ever owned a Niwalker light, you know they put some nice touches in their lights that a lot of the other manufacturers don't do. They make them really nice lights. So you got this big burly flashlight that holds up to a lot of abuse. You got that nice type 3 hard anodizing that holds up to wear and, you know, just scratch resistant really, really well. Of course, you can scratch it if you try hard enough. It's just going to be harder to scratch versus the lower grades of anodizing. They actually have a copper heatsink pad down in there, so really nice thermal conductivity in here. They put square threads, so they wear well, they seal well. They actually have pretty good lubrication coming from the factory. You know, we get a lot of flashlights in that actually don't have any lubrication on the O-ring or the threads, which is kind of a bummer. You know, you take it apart and you get that squeaking sound. But these actually come pretty well lubricated from the factory. Just nice touches all over the place on this that make it a high quality light. Went ahead and set the XM-L2 onto the side. We're going to use the BK-FA02 for the rest of the video in terms of the inside portion, just because they have the same interface and same specs other than the LED. Then we go outside, we'll take them both just so you can see the difference in the beams. Okay, so powered by 4 18650 batteries or 8 CR123s. If you're in a pinch, you can actually use 4, 6, or 8 CR123s, or you can use 2, 3, or 4 18650s. So you're not going to get quite the same output and runtime, obviously, but if you're in a pinch, you know, you only have a couple batteries that you can find, you can still power the light. Kind of a cool option that they have on this. So this is the ring that completely controls the light, controls all the outputs and flashing modes and all that kind of stuff. And no switch on this, so no switch on the rear, no switch on the side to control operation or anything like that. You can see pretty cool styling on it. It's a good looking light. A lot of aggressive heat sinking, so lots of surface area in here that'll help dissipate the heat really well. And those are your lanyard attachment points down there on the bottom if you want to use the lanyard or any other lanyard. Let's go and open it up, show you the inside, and we'll put some batteries in there. Alright, so here's the battery carrier. So you can see pretty standard battery carrier, and there's your contact point there on the top or on the bottom of the head. There's your battery tube. It's pretty much just a aluminum tube. And then here is the battery carrier. So we are going to put 4 18650s in here. I always recommend 18650s over CR123s unless you're going to be storing and not using the light for a long period, because you do need to recharge 18650s every now and then. CR123s, generally the high quality ones, have about a 10-year shelf life. So if you're going to very rarely be using the light, use the CR123s. Otherwise, for the vast majority of the people, the 18650s are the way to go. They are a little bit more of an upfront cost, but if you buy them in a bundle with the light and the charger and everything, it'll save you a little bit of money if you get it from us. The 18650s we recommend are the Olight 3400 milliamp hour 18650s. Really high quality, nice high capacity. They did a really nice job with these. They come with a free carrying case, and they're a few dollars cheaper than the comparable batteries from other high quality manufacturers. So I got the 4 batteries in there. We're going to go ahead and stick this back in the battery tube, slide it down in there, and then stick the head back on. And you have the same connections on both sides, so orientation doesn't actually matter. You can stick it in there either way. We're going to go ahead and stick that back in there, put the head back on, show you the operation of this thing. So again, real simple operation on this thing. If you're looking to get a light for somebody that, you know, doesn't understand all the multiple switches and programming and all that kind of stuff that you can get with some of the other lights, it's real simple. You just turn the ring until you get to what you want. So you have off to the left is strobe, start going to the right, and you have your different outputs. So super low output is that first one, and then it just starts getting brighter and brighter all the way up to that max output. And again, same exact interface and everything on the XM-L2 version, the BK-FA01 as well. So real simple. Just keep on turning it until you find the output that you want. Normally I do a quick overview again of the interface, but that was pretty quick in the first place, so I'm not going to do that. You just turn it until you get to the output that you want. So nice interface on this, nice and simple, but it still gives you a lot of versatility. You know, you have the lower run times for more up close kind of stuff, or if you want to have that fantastic battery life. And when you need it, it's just a quick turn to get to the higher outputs to give you more light or go out to a longer distance or anything like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take both versions of this outside, and we're going to show you how they do outside. Alright, we're outside with the Niwalker Vostro lights. Got the big 40 mag light that I always use as a baseline. Let's go ahead and try out the mag light first. Little tree right there, about 25 feet away. Dock house down there on the lake is 100 feet away. Try out the Vostros. We're going to try out the XM-L2 version first. So here it is. We'll just start cranking through the lower outputs. I don't know how well it shows up, but the low beam actually makes it out to that bush really well. And you can actually kind of see what's going on 100 feet away also. And then crank it up to the higher outputs. Things just get brighter and brighter. This really illustrates how focused the beam is on the XM-L2. You know, it's definitely too bright for up close kind of stuff, but you can see how well it punches out to the distances. So that is it all the way up. We'll zoom in on that. You can kind of see how well things are lit up down there. You know, you can see things on the table really, really well. Everything's just lit up extremely well. And obviously this can do a much further distance. So we have about 130 yards to work with here in just a little bit that you'll see the better distances. But 100 feet away does extremely well. Maybe a little bit too focused for more up close kind of distances. You know, you're definitely going to start getting the tunnel vision effect if you use it for more up close kind of stuff like reading and things like that, unless you use just the spill, which you can see the spill itself actually gets out to the dock house pretty well. So you got the bright part in the center called the hotspot, and the dimmer part's called the spill. You can see the spill is not too shabby by itself. So turn that one off, and let's try out the other one, the MT-G2 version. See how it does. Start cranking through the outputs on it. So on the lowest one, again, it's not going to do any great distance, but for up close kind of stuff, pretty appropriate. And then you see what this thing can do. Ton of lumens coming out of this thing. I love the MT-G2 LEDs. My favorite LED. They make some really cool lights with them, all the different manufacturers. you can see what it can do. You can see the color difference between the two. I really like the way greens and browns actually look more green and brown. So you got that nice big wide hotspot that just lights up a really wide area. The spill is super bright. So the spill alone, you can see how bright the spill is. Lights up a really wide area. Both of them do a great job. If you need the distance, the XM-L2 is definitely the way to go. If you prefer just lighting up a wider area, MT-G2 is the way to go. So kind of shine it around a little bit. We'll zoom in just so you can see that still really well lit up, but more is lit up with this one. Obviously that's not going to be the case when you start getting out to the extreme distances, but for more up close distances you're going to be better off with the MT-G2. So let's do them side by side. So we'll have the MT-G2 there on the right, and I'll crank the XM-L2 all the way up on the left, so you can see the stark difference between the two hot spots on those. We'll kind of shine them back and forth. Alright, we have some more distance to work with, so let's try these out at a longer distance. Alright, got a longer range to work with on the two Niwalker Vostro models. Gonna do the XM-L2 one first. Gonna see what it can do. Start cranking up through the different outputs. So that boat right there, 20 feet away. Got some longer range distance targets out there. First one is out there at 50 yards. The second one is out there at 100 yards. Tree line beyond is 130 yards. You can see it makes it out to all of those, no issue. This can do much, much further than that. So I mean, this thing's rated for 700 plus meters. Pretty crazy amount of distance. You can see how tight focused the beam is. Nice, really focused hot spot. If you're looking for a distance, this is definitely the one to get. It's hard to beat this guy in terms of the size and the distance that you can get out of it. Kind of shine it around a little bit, and then at the distance we'll show you what the different outputs look like. Even on the low ones, I mean, you can see on that next to lowest output, of course the lowest one's not going to give you any great distance, but this next to lowest makes it out to that 50 yard mark pretty well. And then of course the higher ones make it out there extremely well. Alright, let's try out the MT-G2 version, see what it can do. So we'll go through the different outputs. The lowest one, actually I can see the 20 feet away pretty well. Second one does better. And then here you can see even greater difference in terms of the beam. And so you put them side by side, they look like exactly the same flashlight, but the beams are very, very different. More spread out on this one, less concentrated. Still gives you great distance. I mean, this thing can go out to hundreds of yards. It's not going to go as far as the XM-L2 version, but I like this one better just because it lights up a wider area, and that's just more useful to me. Nice big wide beam, really good colors on it. I really like how greens and browns look more green and brown, but it's absolutely a personal preference. If you like that more concentrated beam, you want the better distance, XM-L2 is definitely the way to go. If you want to light up a wider area, get the more lumens, better colors, then the MT-G2 is the way to go. So we'll do them side by side. Actually, let's zoom in just so you can see what those look like out there. So 50 yards, 100 yards, tree line at 130 yards. Not a problem at all for either of these models. Okay, let's try them out side by side. So we'll do MT-G2. These things are kind of unwieldy. I got one tucked under my arm. Definitely not the easiest ones to do two at a time. Okay, so got the one on the right with the MT-G2, one on the left, XM-L2. We'll shine them back and forth just so you can quickly see the difference in the beams. It's a huge difference in terms of the beams. That pretty well illustrates the difference between the two. Okay, so there you go. Those are the Niwalker Vostro models. If you like them, you can buy them from us at goinggear.com. Any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or any of my guys at goinggear.com. And if you like the video, please subscribe. We do a lot of gear and flashlight videos. That's it. Thanks for watching.